Football Focus's Steve Palazzolo, Sam Monson on if Za'Darius Smith is in fact the missing piece for the Browns defense.
Za'Darius Smith being traded to the Cleveland Browns. I think this is a potential home run for the Browns. But in 2019 with the Packers, 88.8 pass rush grade, 2020 with the Packers, 84 pass rush grade, and then last year with the Vikings, 85 pass rush grade. His last 3 full seasons, Za'Darius Smith is one of the most valuable edge defenders in the NFL.
I mean, he's basically averaging 70 pressures a season over those last 3 years, which is a figure that only 4 guys, edge rushers in the NFL last season, exceeded. He's the best defensive lineman the Browns have ever had alongside Myles Garrett. On paper, this looks as good as that defensive line has looked for a long, long time, and it's probably the best collection of talent they've had around Myles Garrett since he's been there, which is huge because it's been Myles Garrett and nothing else for the last few years.
And with that, let's welcome in Jackson McCurry from the Dogland and Top Dogs podcast. And Jackson, if you put the best people around the best player, you would expect that to elevate his play more just because teams can't focus on him as much.
Yeah, since he's entered the league, Myles Garrett, it's just been him and a bunch of other guys. Like, you had Olivier Vernon for a little bit, Clowney in 2021, but it's been the Myles Garrett show on the defensive front since he entered the league on the Browns defensive line. So I thought they had a good offseason adding pieces around him. And then adding Za'Darius Smith when they were rumored and looking at other free agent defensive ends, I think it was icing on the cake for the way that Andrew Berry and company have overhauled this defensive front. And I just can't wait to see them hit the ground running week 1 against Cincinnati when the Browns defensive front has caused havoc on Joe Burrow since he's entered the league. And now with all the new additions, hopefully Cincinnati's offensive line is ready. But at the same time, hopefully it's not for the Browns' sake.
Yeah, and, you know, we tend to forget they mentioned the pressures by Za'Darius Smith. One of the other 4 was Myles Garrett. So now you've got 2 of the top 5 in terms of sacks and pressures playing on the same offensive or defensive line, rather.
Yeah, I looked up the numbers when you guys sent me the notes today. Jadeveon Clowney, Alex Wright, and Isaiah Thomas combined for 49 pressures last year. Myles Garrett had 78. Za'Darius Smith had 78. So right there's 156 pressures, not to mention all the sacks they've had. I know Myles Garrett's had 4 straight double-digit sack seasons. Za'Darius Smith's had 3 on his last 3 full seasons. Obviously, 2021, he was hampered with a back injury. But this might be the most dominant pass-rushing duo in the NFL. And, there's been some questions about Za'Darius Smith's character and everything, but it seems like players love to play alongside him, and he wanted to come to Cleveland to play with Myles Garrett. So I can't wait to see what those 2 do together on the field.